Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Love with Love. So today we're talking about anti-war, anti-violence. Why I do my simple makeup tutorial. So we're going to get to the makeup tutorial as I talk about what it means and also examples of why we should basically cut out the war and cut out the violence and be able to get along and to be able to talk to each other and say, hey, let's disagree to agree and just find a way in a balance, find ourselves at the middle. So let's get into the tutorial and let's get to talking. So first I'm not gonna explain too much of my makeup, but this is concealer. I'm just gonna put dab this. So yeah, the thing about war is that I feel it doesn't solve anything. It's basically growing up playing Battleship and realizing that some people are just stuck in a war mind when at the end of the day two adults should be able to disagree to agree and just to find the better way, the better route for not only our country but also our community, and to know like, hey, we can all get along if we just know how to sit down like two human beings and find the best solution. I'm going to show you an example of what war does. I was in a situation, and it didn't come out to a war, but this is what I felt that would have happened if I would have escalated the situation where when I was put in a situation, I put the grace route rather than the war route. So I had a situation working at a job, and it was a federal government job. I was just basically telling people to vote, and I loved it so much, y'all. It was like igniting my fire, getting people involved in the community and letting people know like we have each other's back if we just stick together and get our voices heard. It doesn't matter if you wanted to go Democrat, Republican, independent, or green. It's just to let people know that your voice is always great to be heard, and it is always heard. And it may not be heard this year, but heck, maybe throughout time and life it will be heard. I mean, we have Martin Luther King had a dream. Look what happened there. All this stuff that was happening back in the day with the English and British culture and all that stuff. You see how when we start to talk and fight with our words, we get things done. So instead of having violence, we have movements, which I already talked about, movements and all that good stuff. But let me get back to the situation. Let me get out of the other part, but let me get back into the situation, what happened with my job. So I had a problem with my phone that they gave me. It was not working. So I called one of my supervisors and said, hey, this phone is not working, but I am talking to people and still getting registrations in and all that good stuff. And they said, oh, no problem, just keep trying to push it, and we'll resolve it basically when I get back to the office. So I got back to the office, and I had told this transgender female that that my phone was working. I said, hey, this phone isn't working, and it wasn't working all day, but my field leader was out there and he knew as well. And she was like, oh, no problem, da da da. The only reason why I put transgender in there, y'all, is because you understand the whole situation of what could have occurred. So I had gotten after I gave the person the phone and told them that it wasn't working, they knew that it wasn't working. They said, okay, you're fine, whatever. So that day, I got a separation letter. I was like, for what? Like, are you kidding me? Separated for what? So I had clocked out for my lunch, but I couldn't clock back in because something was wrong with the phone. So they said, oh, wasn't working for 3 hours, but I had let them know, like, hey, it's not working. So a week later, after finding out, a week later, after finding out who fired me, it was a transgender woman. And at the time, I hadn't gotten my paycheck yet. So I was being very humble in the situation, but I had called them because I was calling them, letting them know, hey, whatever happened, at this point, it is what it is, and God is always going to give me something even better. So I called them and asked them, hey, I still haven't gotten paid and all that good stuff. So I didn't get paid. Somebody just fired me. Well, this transgender woman had told me, oh, you should have got it when the day I fired you, right? So I'm all like, oh my God, this person is who fired me after I told you what was going on with this phone situation, right? And I'm like, you know what? And I said, you know what? Just give me the other HR so I can just get my money. So I haven't got my money yet. And I go to the store and I see one of the people that I worked with. And they're like, oh my God, hey, what's going on with you? I'm like, oh, nothing. My mom is like, bored. They fired her without any causes. They fired her without any causes. They didn't even pay her yet. So I'm all like, I'm like, calm down. They're gonna pay me. Like, there's no need for you to create more drama or more chaos and all this stuff. Because if I would have told them someone fired me from that building because this person knew how hard I was working, this is what would have happened. And this is in my mind. This is why people don't get that there's all ways to create war. Sometimes you got to be silent until the whole outlook comes, and then you realize, oh wow, this is why things happen. Things happen for a reason. But when my mom was blotting everything out, if I was the person to say, hey, this person fired me for no reason, you know what would have happened? This is in my mind, and people don't get it. The people do not get it. They would have went to that person and created something that didn't even need to be created. You know what I mean? Here I am, this woman that was on her game, top of her game, getting people to sign and just get people into it and feeling the fire that's in my heart. Like, this guy knew how much I loved what I was doing. And if I would have told him the whole story, why I got fired, this person I already knew would have came up to that person and created chaos. Would have probably beat this person's butt, anything. And then it would have created some kind of hate crime, because here is a black man doing something to a transgender woman. You know what I mean? So people don't realize sometimes silence is beautiful. It's gold. There's no need for violence. There's no need to create more chaos when at the end of the day, silence is gold. So that was an example of anti-violence. Like, you could basically stop something from happening, but some people, they want to create, some people don't know that they're creating the chaos, and they don't realize what it can lead to. I'm the type of person that look at what's happening to me and I'm all like, it don't even need to go that far. I already know I got what I need to get, thank God, but I had to stay humble and I had to stay patient. So when you say humble and patient, everything comes to you. It's so crazy what's going on in the world, where one of the rappers just got Takeoff just got killed for gun violence. And it's crazy because people are saying, they're promoting gun violence in the videos and their songs, and they're posting in their Instagram accounts, and they're all like, oh, we need to stop this. But why are you still talking about it, and why are you promoting it? You have to realize, look at what you are doing as well. You are the cause of the example of why these things come into place of violence. So this is all got to stop. And we have to start coming to terms to say, like, what's the better solution for not only our families, but our communities? What is going to make us feel safe? Because right now, with everything going on, a lot of people don't feel safe. You don't feel safe when there's more violence, people. You do not feel it. You don't feel safe when you have a gun, because if you did feel safe with a gun, honey, you wouldn't have the gun. I don't care what anybody says. You wouldn't have that gun. You would not have a gun if you did not feel safe. Like, you don't feel safe with it. And some people don't feel safe without it. You have to pick something of a faith, y'all. I do believe that. I believe in picking something of faith, spiritual being. If you pick everything, the whole universe, they got your back, honey. And things, what people don't understand is things happen for a reason, and it is so sad that they have to happen the way they happen. But some people wake up to fight and do all this stuff for us, but it shouldn't come to occur to the point where It should never come to the point where it gets that way. And it's been happening for so long that it's like, when is it going to stop? And it feels like it's occurring more and more. More people are passing from violence and guns, having guns. If you don't know how to use it, I'm going to tell y'all. When I watched Romeo and Juliet, the last one, Leonardo DiCaprio, that man said, you don't know how to use it, it's banishment, period. Because you don't know how to act with it. You're acting like a child with it. You're getting your feelings with this. Now you have, and a lot of people don't get that some of these people have mental health and they have guns. I know that when I was living in Dallas, this guy, there was a lot of gun shooting, and this guy was like, oh, it's homeless people doing it that is out of their mind. And I'm like, these people, like, who are, and not that the homeless people don't have no mind, because they do, but in certain situations when people are on drugs, and I could be somebody that's rich and all this stuff, and get into your feelings, you shoot somebody because you're in your feelings. These things shouldn't have to, like, we have to come to some kind of agreement to say it's not working out. It's not working out for ourselves, for our mental health. You got people who are veterans and who are on all these drugs because of the trauma they saw when they went out to these countries, and they just can't get it out of their head. You know, there's people who have probably had to kill somebody and come back home, and somebody's supposed to think somebody's supposed to feel normal after that. No. And we have to come to agreement for ourselves, because there's so many people, and it's so sad because I've witnessed people in my car have drug problems because they're trying to erase things that keep occurring in their head, the stuff that they had when they went into these wars and all this stuff. So when do we come to agreement when it's like, this ain't working out for anybody? Create war does not do nothing. It just creates more war, people. You have to be able, we as citizens have to be able to say, hey, let's learn how to talk to each other, and say, hey, let's figure out what's the best route for everybody to meet in the middle. But until we can compromise and grow and realize that we're not the only people in this world, we're not going to get anywhere. It's going to continue and continue, you know, and it doesn't even have to be that way. That's the sad part about it, y'all. It's like, oh my gosh, like, we can be in a world where we're making love, and yes, sometimes it's going to be a little bit of sadness, but sadness makes us strong as well. However, it doesn't have to be the sadness that we're over here killing each other, you know. It's usually sadness in what if you lost somebody from something, you know. That's when you come and you be a better human being and say, hey, let me give you a hug. You lost somebody, rather than you lost somebody because somebody didn't know how to compromise, or some people are just living in the battleship world where they just can't get over it. So they want to see all this madness occur and all these people dying, because hell, that they live in that disgust to watch people hunt, but they get paid for it. So when do we come to a agreement when we start bringing our brothers and our sisters home for love? And half of the time, the people what we are fighting for is, half of the time we have more of it here. And so I'm like, what are we fighting? Everybody's like, oh, we don't want that over here. Why can't people be cordial? Why can't people be cordial? Like, everybody has went through shit in their life. I know people who went through some shit in their life and got their master's degree and has forgiven the people who have done the things that they did to you. And I'm like, you are a strong human being. And I witnessed that and saw that, and I said, I can be just as much as that, a strong human being, and just letting things go, because it's not that serious. We're all here for a reason. We're here to live, love, have joy. And there's going to be some heartbreak in certain ways, but I hope it's not heartbreak because we create it. You know? So, anti-war. It's not about the war, but it's about to get the community together. And let's see what we can do. What is the best route for all of us? Not just for you, but what's the best route for everybody? You know? So I'm doing this little thing. This is so funny because as you can see, I didn't do too much. But these eyelashes gonna make me look like I did a lot. But yeah, so war, what is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Say it again. It just creates more, and everybody is it's sad. It's a sad thing to live in when it ain't even gotta be like that. You ain't gotta be sacrificed, not like that. Yes, things are gonna happen, but it's more of what this life prevents from happening. It's kind of like when you look at the Amazon and you notice that all this stuff was burning, right? And it was sad. That was like new. It was so sad, but nobody understood that new life had to come in. So all these other little creatures are showing up over there. Like, I'm like, this is about life. This is how what life does. Sometimes it takes away to bring something new in. Just like when they tell you to let go. The reason why you let go is to bring new life in. But if we keep holding on to stuff and fighting over things, we're not going to get nowhere. And the animals are going to start looking at us like, oh my God, they just ain't get it yet. And I'm like, I would like to get it. Not get all of it, like get it. More of just living in a world where it's like people know how to like compromise. And some people they're lonely because they don't know how to do it. And it's sad. You want to sit there and be sad because you don't know how to? You ain't the only person. Just like when you have a kid, understand sometimes you realize how much you got to compromise. The kid didn't ask to be here, right? So therefore, it's more of, if we know how to do that, if we know how to compromise for kids, having a baby, and all this stuff, then why can't we know how to compromise with saying, hey, this is yours, this is mine, can we meet in the middle? That's it. Can we meet it in the middle? So I'm just going to put this eyeliner on there. I usually have like little, But yeah. So instead of creating more chaos, we can stop the problem by letting ignorance be ignorant and coming together and creating peace. And if the ignorant want to go over there and be ignorant, let be ignorant. But I know everybody ain't like that. I know there's more citizens who is ready to say, F this. What can we do to help each other? Because it's sad. They got people going around out here with knives and going after people. This person probably was in the military. And it's sad what this person had did, but this person may have had mental issues that nobody checked up on and was like, oh no, it's normal, when it wasn't. The person was probably going through some stuff. So it ain't just, oh, people from different countries and stuff. It's us as well. We all got to start helping each other out. At the end of the day, we are all humans. We are all humans. You know? And it's here. If it's here, it's here. We can't do nothing about it. But we can start to be a better human beings. Teach better. You know, this one person, I was going to this church, y'all. This Baptist church. I went to all these churches, y'all. I just wanted to feel love. I'm like, it's spread the love, baby. It's all love, right? It's all love, right? So I went to this Bible study church, and this girl was telling me how much she gives and gives. She was like, I just keep getting hurt from it. Note to self, people, if you're a giver, you are a giver. If you feel like you need a balance, you gotta let people know you need a balance, okay? Don't give at all. But the priest was just trying to forget what he was trying to say, but I look at it as this: if all y'all was my kids, I would have to forgive y'all, right? And everybody know how much their kids have put them through and still love their ass, love their butts, right? That's how we gotta be with people sometimes, and I know it's hard, y'all.